manage our time. Sharmin Akhtar, slide is share over there. Sharmin?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So in last class, I mean in the yesterday, we discussed the late blight of potato and tomato. Today we are going to discuss the early blight of potato and tomato. And in the early morning, with the early good morning, I should start the discussion of the early late blight of the potato and tomato because
স্যার একটা কথা ছিল স্যার
জি sure.
স্যার গত ক্লাসে স্যার ফেভারেবল কন্ডিশন বলার পরে আপনি বলছেন স্যার একটা কোশ্চেন থ্রো করবেন
কোশ্চেনটা থ্রো করব এই যে এটা ডিসকাশন করার পরেই থ্রো করে দেব ঠিক আছে ওকে the early blight of potato tomato this is caused by the organism. This is Alternaria solani. And this is a very common the genus of the fungus Alternaria that cause the disease in several crops as well. It's cause the disease in the potato tomato is cause the disease in the grey leaf spot mustard, and they can also cause the disease in the cold crops as well that we discussed in our first class in the list of the vegetable diseases. And after that we observed we noted that the several number of the particularly vegetable leafy vegetable where the Alternaria cause the disease. So the Alternaria that cause the disease in potato and tomato, this is called the early blight, and this is the species Alternaria solani. Here we use the species Alternaria solani because this genus or this species that attack in the solanaceous vegetable, that is why it's called the Alternaria solani. Okay. From the family of the Solanaceae, the first part of the family Solanaceae, Solani. Now the economic importance. The early blight of potato tomato is economically less important than the late blight of potato tomato. Yesterday class we discussed in detail about the late blight of potato and tomato, and after that we noted that the late blight of potato that caused by the Phytophthora infestans and Phytophthora have the several reproductive units that can infect to the potato and tomato plant, and that is why we call this is a very mysterious and devastating pathogen and devastating disease as well. But here is the Alternaria that produce only one type of reproductive unit, only the conidia. This conidia name is the muriform conidia. Already you have this idea about this. We will show also in today's class. So that is why Alternaria or the early blight of potato tomato, this is economically less important than the late blight of potato. But this disease common where the potato and tomato is grown in the world as well as also in the Bangladesh. So that is why we are considering this disease. We are going to be studying this disease. And now, what is the symptom? The very interesting things here is the please try to understand and try to keep it in your mind, and as well as very closely observe that the symptom that appear also leaf, and that can also appear in the stem, and also in case of tomato this is also attacking the fruits, and in case of potato is also attacking the tuber. And although this is this pathogen also can attack in any part of the plant of the potato and tomato, after that it is not such a devastating like a Phytophthora infestans, because it have only one reproductive unit, that is conidia, and that conidia can infect the plant. That is why. Okay. So what about the symptom in case of the leaf? You can see here. Actually, at first there is some minute spot or the smaller spot appear on the leaf, and that within the spot there will show that spot become enlarged in size, and within the spot that should be the some concentric ring, and at the advanced stage of the disease, and several number of spot close to form the blighted area, I'm again telling that to repeat it here. The firstly, the minute spot are appear on the leaf, and then this spot, enlarged in size, and that is irregular to circular in shape. And within the spot, it's a very notable thing, remarkable thing is that within the spot that should be some concentric ring. You can see here. This is the concentric ring. Okay. Finally, at the advanced stage, I mean, when the disease is advanced and the spot is fully developed, then a several number of spots that mask each and other, and then it's from the blight area. So that is why it's called the early blight of potato and tomato. Also, as I told you then yesterday class, the early blight is very severe in case of tomato as compared to the potato. But in tomato, it's also appear in the potato, but in tomato, that is why I include here the leaf of the tomato, where the symptom is appear very characterized symptom. Okay. And what about the stem? It can also attack in the stem, and when it is attacking the stem, and then it's on the stem, it's showed the concentric ring as well, and also it's the dark brown to brownish lesion. You can see here, this is a very visible symptom in case of tomato, and very remarkable symptom. And in large way, it's also have the concentric ring, and that is the dark brown to gray in color. This is dark brown to gray in color. Okay. And the pathogen that can attack also the fruit of the tomato, and that it's very clear in this picture as well, and on the fruit, on the skin, and that also appear the dark brown to gray in color, the lesion on the skin of the fruits. And one thing I would like to mention here, that the alternaria that basically attack on the surface surface layer of the leaf, or surface layer of the stem, or surface layer of the fruits. And basically that is why we can, if we just scraping the disease area, then we can observe the pathogenic structure of this pathogen. The pathogenic structure of alternaria. As we know, in leaf there is a three layer basically, or as a surface layer, then epidermis layer, also the mesophyll layer, and this pathogen basically appear superficially. That appear on the surface layer, and on the leaf as well as stem, and also the fruits. And one thing is here noted that all the color is the dark light brown to or brown to gray in color. That is why it's also called the gray blight. It's also called the gray blight. Okay. And that can also, in case of the potato, that the such symptom also can appear in the potato or tuber, and that appear on the skin of the tubers. And this is also the appear the concentric ring. You can see here, this is also appear the concentric ring. So the remarkable symptom of this disease is the in any type of symptom that appear on the leaf, on the stem, and as well as also on the fruit, and also in case of potato, on the tuber skin, that form the concentric ring. This is the remarkable symptom of this disease, and this is the remarkable or characterized the symptom of that caused by the alternaria that appear on the leaf, stem, as well as fruit, and in case of potato, it's also the tuber skin. So this is the characteristic symptom, or we can say this is the remarkable symptom of this disease. Now, as I already discussed this thing, okay, this text already included here. Now the disease cycle. As I told you that only the one type of the reproductive unit, that is conidia basically. Mycelium also that can associate with the plant debris, but basically conidia, that is the primary source of infection. That is the primary inoculum or primary reproductive unit of this pathogen that infect the associated with the plant debris, and infected also to the plant as well. Okay, And secondary infection, again, you can see here the conidia is the secondary infection. That means after infection, it produces the mycelium, and from the mycelium is produced the conidiophore, and conidiophore is produced the conidia, and ultimately this conidia is the secondary source of infection, and then can explode out, that can disperse by the wound, water, and rain splashes as well. But this basically in yesterday class we discussed the juice spore of the phytophthora that usually spread out through the wind, through the swimming or rain splashing. But the conidia of alternaria that basically spread out, or that is dispersed through the wind. Here is the disease cycle of this pathogen, as we noted that is associated with the infected plant debris or infected seed as well. Seed in case of, for example, in case of the tomato, that can also associate with the seed. So the conidia and mycelium survive in the infected plant debris, in the soil, and infected seed as well. In both, this is the primary source of infection. Okay. And then this that in the mycelium, because this is also the saprophytic fungus, so that can also grow in this plant, on the plant debris as well. And in the plant debris, it basically grow as a mycelium. Then from the mycelium, it form the conidiophore, and they at the tip of the conidiophore, conidia is produced in a chain. This is the conidia. I think you are familiar with the conidia, because it's called the muriform conidia, because it have the longitudinal and vertical separation, horizontal and vertical separation, and also have the beak. So that is why you call this is the muriform conidia. This conidia are the conidia produced on the infected tissue and are spread by wound, water and equipment as well, as already we discussed. As I told you that basically this conidia usually that spread out and that can disperse through the wind. So through the wind it disperses to the plant, and then on the plant, as we already discussed, the symptom can appear on the leaf, that can attack on the stem, and as well also in the fruit, and so in case of tomato. And then when it is attacking the healthy plant, this conidia infect the healthy plant, and after that the symptom is appear. And how we can confirm that this is the alternaria? As I already told you that the remarkable symptom of alternaria leaf spot, alternaria blight, it is the spot with the concentric ring. Within the spot there will be the concentric ring. So leaf and stem lesion, not concentric ring. And this is the remarkable symptom. If we observe, if we investigate that the concentric rings, then we can confirm that is the alternaria. This is the alternaria blight, or the the early blight of this that is caused by the alternaria. And after that, these leaf are become, as I told you that that in the symptom of firstly it appear the very minute symptom, I mean the smaller symptom. Then ultimately this symptom become enlarged, irregular or circular in shape, and within the spot there will be the concentric ring, and several number of spots that close to form the blighted area, and that can survive in the leaf, that can survive in the stem as well, and also that can survive with the that can also associate with the fruit as a lesion, and ultimately the seed also can infect it or contaminate it. So this is the way. And from the leaf it can also as a plant debris, or from the leaf it can also again germinate or mycelium formation, and then the conidiophore and conidia. So this is the short way life cycle, but I discuss here in details life cycle. And I repeat it here that firstly it has the pathogen or mycelium or conidia that's associated with the plant debris. This is the primary source of infection, and ultimately this conidia or mycelium that grow or this fungus, and ultimately they produce the reproductive unit, that is conidia. We call this the uniform conidia. This uniform conidia that's spread out usually the wound and also other way, and then attack to the healthy plant, and on the healthy plant on the leaf particularly that appear the symptom, that is the leaf spot, and that is within the spot that should be the concentric ring. And on the basis of that we can confirm that is the early blight and the cross blight, the alternaria, and several number of spot that flows from the larger spot or the lesion, and that can appear on the leaf and that can spread out to the stem and as well as ultimately to the fruit and to the seed as well. And the infected from the infected leaf, it can again maybe as a plant debris, or maybe that can and also go to the directly for germination and the production of the conidia. So this is the life cycle. It is very simple actually as compared to the Phaedophthora infestans, because it's produce only one type of reproductive unit, that is conidia, called the alternaria conidia. This is also called the muriform conidia. Why it is called muriform? Because it has the horizontal and vertical separation and with the beak. Now, what is the favorable condition? In previous class, we noted that the favorable condition of the Phaedophthora, I mean the lead blight, that was 12 to 24 degrees centigrade temperature. But here noted that the temperature is started from the 24 degrees centigrade and up to the 29 degrees centigrade. This is the favorable condition. But here is the condition is not the cool, it's a warm condition. It's one condition is favored to the relative humidity that is with warm condition, not the cool condition. So here is the humid as well as one condition that is favored to. And one literature, or I mean the research finding, is that in the presence of free moisture and at an optimum of 28 to 30 degrees centigrade temperature, conidia will germinate approximately within the 40 minutes. This is the research finding. Here is you can see I told you that if it is appearing on the leaf and that it can reach conidia can germinate, and that can again for the mycelium, from the mycelium to conidia to conidia. So that is why research finding told that from the research finding it is revealed that in the presence of free moisture at an optimum temperature, that 28 to 30 degrees centigrade, the conidia of alternaria that can germinate within the 40 minutes. So that is why if the condition, environmental condition is favored and that is conducive to the pathogen of alternaria, then it may be the very severe problem to, and that because the several conidia will be produced and that can spread out also through the wind and that can attack in the new plant. So that is why this is also problem. Okay, so a favorable condition or environmental condition is very a factor, is a major factor. Okay. Now, finally, the management, how we can manage. I'm not going in details because to manage or control the potato and tomato diseases, particularly solanaceous vegetable diseases, the cultural practice is the main among the integrated disease management component. As we know, the integrated disease management component have the cultural practice, resistant variety, then biological control, and also have the prophylactic measurement and physiological management. Anyway, the three management is very crucial, particularly the cultural practice is very important and for manage the late blight as well as also the early blight. Okay. And you can note it here, the same thing that we discussed in the yesterday class. Okay, here is the just the fungicide is different group of fungicide should be, because as I told you that these pathogen, this pathogen that attack on the superficially and appear the symptom at the surface of the leaf, at the stem as well as also the skin of the fruit. That is why we need the contact fungicide. We need contact fungicide. So that the fungicide should be contact with the leaf or stem and as well as also the fruit. So I mean this is the powder form of fungicide that should be contact with the surface of the leaf as well as the stem as also the fruit skin. So we need the contact fungicide. This is the important information for you. Okay. So this is the overall discussion of the late blight and early blight of potato and tomato. Now, I would like to throw one question. And in Bangladesh, I think you should write this question. All of you, you are advised to write the question. In Bangladesh, early blight show in later of the growing season and late blight appear in early of the growing season? Explain. সাজিদুর রহমান,
জি স্যার।
লেখছো কোশ্চেন?
জি স্যার, জি স্যার।
আমি কি বলছি? ইন বাংলাদেশ early blight appear in late of the growing season and late blight appear in early of the growing season. Explain. আনসার কি লিখতে পারবা? আমি একটু জাস্ট ক্লু দিয়ে দেই।
জি স্যার, পারবো।
তাহলে তোমাদের জন্য সুবিধা হবে। হয়তো তুমি পারবা, অনেকেই হয়তো পারবে না। তারপর একটু বলি, এই কোশ্চেনটার আনসারটা দিতে হবে অন দ্য বেসিস অফ দ্য ফেভারেবল কন্ডিশন। একটু খেয়াল করছো যে বাংলাদেশে ফেভারেবল কন্ডিশনটা অলসো উই আর টেলিং দ্যাট দিস ইজ দ্য আর্লি ব্লাইট, বাট ফেভারেবল কন্ডিশনটা কখন আসতেছে? 24 to 30 29 ডিগ্রি সেন্টিগ্রেড টেম্পারেচার। এটা বাংলাদেশে কখন এপিয়ার করে? ফেব্রুয়ারি থেকে, ফেব্রুয়ারি, মার্চ, এপ্রিলের দিকে।
মার্চ এপ্রিলের দিকে স্যার, যখন একদম লাস্ট স্টেজে থাকে।
লাস্ট সিজনে আমরা কিন্তু পটেটোটা গ্রোয়িং শুরু করি বাংলাদেশে অক্টোবর থেকে নভেম্বরের মধ্যে, এবং নভেম্বর, অক্টোবর, নভেম্বর, ডিসেম্বর এন্ড আপ টু জানুয়ারি, এই সময়টাতে আমাদের টেম্পারেচার একটু কম থাকে। কিন্তু এই সময় তাহলে তো এই যে ব্লাইটের যে ফেভারেবল কন্ডিশন সেটা কিন্তু ওই সময় থাকে না। এই জন্য বাংলাদেশে এটা কিন্তু আর্লিটা এপিয়ার করে লেটে, লেটটা এপিয়ার করে আর্লিতে। এখন বলতে পারো যে স্যার এরকম নাম হইলো কিভাবে? তাহলে এই নামটা তো আমরা দেই নাই, এই নামটা দিচ্ছে ওই যে আইরিশটা, ওই যে বলছে আইরিশ পটেটো ফেমিন, এই নামগুলো দিচ্ছে আইরিশটা। এই আইরিশটা তাদের যে গ্রোয়িং সিজন সেই অনুযায়ী তারা দিচ্ছে। তারা দেখছে যে তাদের আর্লি ব্লাইটটা হলো যে এই টেম্পারেচার, আর্লিতে এই টেম্পারেচার থাকে তাদের, আর লেটে গিয়ে তাদের টেম্পারেচারটা হলো যে ফল করে। এই জন্য তারা বলে আর্লি ব্লাইট এন্ড লেট ব্লাইট। এর আগে যদি তোমরা লেভেল 3 তে পড়ে থাকো যে আর্লি টিক্কা, লেট টিক্কা, ওখানে কিন্তু দেখা গেছে যে কনসিকুয়েন্স অনুযায়ী বাংলাদেশের এনভায়রনমেন্ট অনুযায়ী কিন্তু আর্লি এবং লেট টিক্কা ওখানে বলা হয়েছে। কারণ টিক্কা ডিজিজ দ্যাট ইজ ফার্স্টলি রিপোর্টেড হিয়ার ইন বাংলাদেশ, এই জন্য ওই নামটা কিন্তু বাংলাদেশের বেসিসে করা হয়েছে। আর এই নামটা কিন্তু আমরা দেই নাই, এটা কিন্তু আইরিশটা দিছে। এই জন্য এখানে আর্লি ব্লাইট এন্ড লেট ব্লাইট, আর্লি ব্লাইটটা আমাদের বাংলাদেশে আসলে আর্লিতে হয় না, এটা লেট সিজনে হয়। আর লেট যেটা লেট ব্লাইট সেটা বাংলাদেশে আর্লিতে হয়। কারণটা হলো বাংলাদেশের যে টেম্পারেচার, আই মিন দ্য ফেভারেবল টেম্পারেচার অফ দিস প্যাথোজেন দ্যাট কজ দ্য ডিজিজ অফ আর্লি ব্লাইট এন্ড লেট ব্লাইট, সেই সিজন গুলো কিন্তু বাংলাদেশে যেভাবে নামটা আছে সেভাবে আসে না। সেটা হলো, এটা কিন্তু ভাইস ভার্সা। কাজে এই জিনিসটা একটু খেয়াল রাখবা। এবং কোশ্চেন কিন্তু আমি বললাম এখানে ডিসকাস করছি পটেটো লেট ব্লাইট, আর্লি ব্লাইট। এখানে আমি কিন্তু কোনো কোশ্চেনেই তোমরা লেভেল 4, এখন আর আমি ওই গতানুগতিক কোশ্চেন করি না, একটু অ্যাপ্লাইড কোশ্চেন থাকবে। কাজে যারা ক্লাস করতেছো আশা করি তারা খুব ভালো আনসার করতে পারবা, আর যারা ক্লাস করবে না তারা কোশ্চেনই ধরতে পারবে না ও আনসারও করতে পারবে। কারো কোনো আছে? এই যে আমি যে কোশ্চেনটা থ্রো করছি এটা বুঝতে কারো কোনো সমস্যা আছে? আমি একটু কিন্তু এক্সপ্লেন করছি, কারো কোনো সমস্যা থাকলে বলতে পারো, আদারওয়াইজ আমি কিন্তু অন্য স্লাইড শেয়ারিং এ চলে যাব।
না স্যার, না, শুরু করেন আপনি অন্য স্লাইড।
ওকে, ওকে, থ্যাংক ইউ। Now I am going to sharing the another